wanted to show you some tricks to make the art that you're creating a little bit more clean. So what I'm going to do here is I'm loading in the Egyptian art, and it looks pretty good, right? Can't really see any problems with it. But there are problems with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill the background with a different color. And now you can see over here in the corner there's a color bleeding out the side. And there's also a little hole here. Right? There's a little hole here. So it's pretty important to get those things precise. Now, there's a bunch of tricks on how to do this, and the easiest thing to do is just when you're making the art not to create those problems. But it's if you make art and you have that and you create the problem, then you need to know how to fix it. So you can see here by the leg there's a hole in it also. So the first thing you can do is you can come in here, select the color, and then make a new layer behind it, and then fill in the areas that were missed. So you just have to have a good eye to see those problems. Now the next thing is, if you see things on the top, you can just fill that in, but you need to fill it in on a layer above it. So I'm going to fix that. And then now this right here is the hardest thing. So if you were to try and really carefully do the edge just like that, it's really hard to get that right. You know, there's still pink there. And it's even harder if the edge has some sort of transparency. But there's a trick. See this button here, the lock button? If you click the layer where the pixels are and you click the lock button, it locks the transparent pixels. And now if I take it and brush across the edge, it's only brushing the color and it's not brushing the transparency. So then I can come around here, and you know, if I didn't have that locked in and I did this, you'd screw up the edge. But if you lock the transparent pixels and then brush across, it fixes it. So let's do that again over here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Then I just like to kind of flash it a little bit to see if there's any holes. So that looks good. Now what I'm going to do here is merge it, and then I'll go to the next frame. So you can see what I'm doing is I'm painting on a background layer, painting the holes. So anytime I see a hole, I just paint behind it. You can see, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it on the video, but I can see these. It just takes it's not that hard to see them, but you have to actually be looking for them, otherwise you won't see it. And the other trick is flashing the color. So if you have a couple of different colors and you blink it really fast, sometimes it helps you see things that you wouldn't see otherwise. So you can see there's some problem there. And these and all these little weird things, they actually do affect the quality of the final image. So that's why I went through and tried to fix these things. Okay, so that looks good. Merge that. Nuke these layers, and then save the scarab. Okay. Okay. I just want to go through these corrections again with you. And I'm going to do it on the Ferrari this time. I won't go through everything, but just to kind of show you some of the things I look for. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this background color to blue. And I like to switch back and forth between different colors because it helps me see things that you wouldn't see otherwise. You can kind of see over here there's some white, and if the background is white, you can't see that. But if the background is blue, you can see that. Another thing I noticed on some of the frames, but not all of them, is there's this kind of strange halo that shows up on some of the frames. So if you're spinning around and then all of a sudden you see this halo. So that's not cool. Finally, sometimes that I like to do is just do like a bright pink, some really obnoxious color. this one. And then what you see is you'll see on some of the frames there's holes. So like up here there's a hole. And I think the reason why you're getting these holes is you're not drawing in layers. You're drawing some lines and then other lines. And if this line and that line don't line up perfectly, you'll get a hole. Whereas the other kind of method would be to draw the background first and then the next color on top of that and kind of layer in the art. And at the very least, just drawing one layer that's a background color, like white or black or, you know, blue. So again, I'm just going through and kind of looking at what I'm going to have to look for. So it seems like the main problems are the halo, the white on the outside, and then some holes. And it looks like this pink color is pretty good at showing all the problems. So, okay, so I'm gonna start fixing it now. And first thing I'm gonna do is hit that lock button, grab the blue outline color, fix that. I'm gonna hit this with white. And then paint white on the background. And then it looks like this frame's good. Good now. Okay, let's go to the next frame. Here we're getting that same problem with the color poking through. See, just like that. Oops. Wait, I screwed up. Okay. I need to merge these layers. Now we go to this layer, and then I'm going to add a new layer in between, and then I can so you can see here, I'm basically using this lock pixels when I want to change the color of the edge without moving the edge, and then I use the paint on the background layer when I want to fill in a hole. Here it's on the edge, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the lock pixels and just fill that in like that. And now here it's like, well, if we were to go and do this, oops, do this, you'd have like a bump there that I don't like. So I'm going to hit erase, and then I have to undo the lock pixels, and I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit, just a little bit like that. Lock the pixels again, and now I can fill it in without screwing up the shape. This is kind of a similar task to photoshopping fashion photos. Oops, shoot. You're just going through and looking for dust and garbage that shouldn't be there. Okay, that little hole shouldn't be there. I think that's good. Just go back one. Merge these layers. Okay, so going back. Just gonna finish this up. Yeah, so you're just scanning this image, looking for places where the pink shows through. It's hard to see, but oops. We can go back and check to see if there's an outline issue. So there's no outline issues on the first few frames. But later on, I don't know why this one's different. This one has that outline issue. The last frame. I don't know why that is. But for whatever reason, the fix again is hit the lock layer and then you draw on the layer with the color. Just like that. It's a lot faster than having to try and redraw the line. The other thing I do is I like to hold shift down. So I'm holding shift with my pinky, and then I click, and then I hold shift and space bar to move the image. And when you do it this way, you actually you just click, and it's basically advancing the line. Okay, so I guess you get the idea.